294 people move to Charleston, South Carolina every single day. That's 15,000 people a year. And it is booming here. Well, northeastern states like New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts are bleeding people. So why is everyone coming to Charleston? Sure, the weather's nice, but there is something very special going on in this city. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why people from the Northeast are migrating to Charleston. Hi, my name's Matt O'Neill. I've lived in Charleston for the last 2 decades, and I make videos all about life here in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, just how big is the migration to Charleston? The numbers will blow your mind. South Carolina grew by 1.7% last year. That's 91,000 people. It is the 4th fastest growing state in America. This is explosive expansion, and it's happening right before our eyes. For every person moving out of South Carolina, 2.05 people are moving in. It's nearly double the national average. Charleston's leading the migration wave, with the metro area exploding and having tremendous growth. This region is pulling way more than its fair share compared to other South Carolina cities. Population just passed 869,000 residents. That's 21% growth in Charleston, South Carolina since 2014. New York leads the Northeast exodus with 5,476 households moving to South Carolina in 2024 alone. New Jersey contributed 2,978 households the same year. When you consider these are households with multiple family members per household, the actual number of individuals moving from New York and New Jersey to Charleston, South Carolina is tremendous. And wait until I show you the thousands of dollars they're saving by moving to Charleston, South Carolina every year. It's insane. This great migration explains why Charleston's metro area is growing nearly 3 times faster than the U.S. average. That puts Charleston a rare company with cities like Austin and Nashville. Total workforce now exceeds 441,000 people in Charleston. That's real job growth that is supporting the population boom. But here's the real thing. It's not just that people are moving to Charleston, it's who's moving to Charleston and why they're choosing Charleston. Let's look at what's drawing so many people from the Northeast down to Charleston, South Carolina. And we're going to start to explain why the growth is exploding the way it is. The big growth is job growth. Charleston has an exploding tech job presence. With over 1,100 tech companies now calling Charleston home, this creates a massive economic impact across the region, and it creates a lot of jobs. And it just isn't a few big players. It's an entire ecosystem of tech innovation companies. Tech jobs are growing 3.2% annually versus 2% across the nation. So Charleston has a big tech job growth advantage across the rest of the US. Charleston's tech scene isn't just established, it's accelerating faster than the traditional tech hubs across the country. Average tech salaries are really competitive in the Northeast. So tech companies are actively hiring people and recruiting them to Charleston, South Carolina. Companies are showing serious confidence in Charleston's long-term prospects. Job seekers actually have leverage and multiple opportunities instead of fighting for the scraps. This explains why young professionals are making the move to Charleston in record numbers. Boeing's 787 Dreamliner facility employs thousands, and this anchors Charleston's aerospace sector. Highly skilled manufacturing jobs pay well above regional averages. Volvo also picked Charleston for their only U.S. manufacturing plant. Mercedes-Benz Vans put their North American headquarters right here in Charleston. These major players create supply chain opportunities for smaller companies. There's also the Medical University of South Carolina, and it creates high-paying jobs for medical professionals, for researchers, and for support staff. Charleston's economy is performing exceptionally well compared to other metros its size. The Navy Yard alone generates nearly $1 billion annually, and recession-resistant government and defense contractor jobs keep Charleston strong. There is a strong economic diversification across multiple job sectors. Charleston consistently ranks among top markets for job growth nationally, but the jobs are only half the story. The other part is tax savings. Tech jobs and economic growth are just part of the equation when you're thinking about migrating to Charleston. The tax savings are bringing established professionals and wealthy retirees to Charleston. And when you see exactly how much in tax savings, you're going to understand why they're all packing their bags and moving this way. When you look at your tax bill in Charleston versus versus New York or New Jersey, the difference is absolutely shocking. A $400,000 home in Charleston costs approximately $2,200 to $2,400 annually in property taxes. The same value home in New York or New Jersey, you're talking about $6,000 plus. That's nearly $4,000 in tax savings just because your property taxes here in Charleston are more favorable than many places in the Northeast. On a 30-year mortgage, that savings becomes $100,000 in tax savings. Monthly housing costs drop significantly day one. And this is before we even get into the much lower cost of living that I'm going to discuss in just a minute, but it gets even better. Primary residence owners get preferred treatment that seriously cuts their tax burden. It's a 4% assessment rate versus a 6% assessment rate if it's a second home. The Homestead Exemption Act cuts taxable value by up to $50,000 for seniors, for disabled people, and for legally blind residents. The school tax exemption for primary residents eliminates 40% to 50% of school-related taxes. Stack these benefits together, and many homeowners cut their property tax bills in half. And when you combine this with the more affordable housing that I'm going to show you next, it's a total game changer. But now here's the thing that gets really exciting. South Carolina doesn't tax Social Security benefits. Retirees keep 100% of their federal retirement benefits. Generous retirement deductions for military pensions, private pensions, and 401k withdrawals are available in the state of South Carolina. The state income tax tops out at 6.2% compared to New York at 8.8% and New Jersey at a whopping 10.75%. A business-friendly tax environment attracts corporate relocations. It creates more job opportunities, which explains why young professionals are flocking to the Charleston, South Carolina area. But here's the real kicker. Families save a significant amount on the home purchase costs when they relocate to Charleston. We have lower closing costs, lower tax transfer fees, and lower first-year property tax breaks than you see in the Northeast. Your annual tax savings alone often equal the same costs as a family vacation budget or a private school tuition, and that's just what you save by moving here. More money for lifestyle improvements and for retirement investments make this a really no-brainer choice. Sometimes we see some older people transplanting here to Charleston because they get much savings on their retirement accounts, and that lets their money stretch for further when they move to Charleston. Now, these tax savings are huge, but consider that when you multiply this by the factor of Charleston's overall affordability, it just gets crazy. Let me show you exactly how much financial breathing room Northeastern families are going to save by moving to Charleston, South Carolina. When Northeastern families move to Charleston, their money suddenly goes way further than it used to. Let's break down the numbers. South Carolina's cost of living runs 11.5% below the national average. Charleston's only 2% above national average despite being a desirable coastal city. Now, Northeastern metros typically run 20% to 30% above the national average. Cities like New York, Boston, and DC are among America's most expensive places to live. Most transplants are seeing anywhere from 15% to 25% boost in purchasing power. The same salary buys way more goods and services in Charleston. Plus, you also get quality of life benefits I'm going to explain shortly. Charleston's median home price is currently around $520,000. Comparable Northeastern metros are often around the $600,000 to $800,000 plus for similar houses. Nearly half of new residents buy homes within 1 year. Way higher success rate compared to Northeastern markets. Housing costs are only 4% more than the U.S. average. That is remarkable for a coastal city that offers everything Charleston offers. Families frequently upgrade from about 1,800 square feet in the Northeast to about 2,500 square feet plus when they move to Charleston. The same monthly budget allows for modern construction and luxury amenities in Charleston, South Carolina. You're going to get granite countertops, hardwood floors, premium appliances, and it's all going to cost way less. Charleston properties steadily show 2.5% to 3% appreciation even in this market. This builds your wealth. The daily expenses in Charleston are generally lower than the national average too. Healthcare costs are about 14% less, and that includes insurance and procedures. Utilities and energy costs are typically lower in Charleston than they are in the Northeast. Milder winters reduce your heating expenses, and competitive markets keep our electricity electricity costs lower. The restaurants and entertainment in Charleston offer better value, and the food scene here is awesome. You are going to love the restaurants in Charleston. I mean, they do rival those in New York. Grocery shopping is more affordable in Charleston due to no state sales tax on groceries. But the financial advantages are just one part of the equation. There's something else that's drawing people to Charleston that money just can't buy, and that's transforming how families in the Northeast spend their life every day. Plus, I'm going to share a secret about Charleston's microclimates that most people don't even know about. This could save you thousands on energy bills. Picture this. It's February, and while your New York friends are scraping ice off their windshields and shoveling their front porch, you're on the beach or at the golf course, spending time with your family outdoors after work. That is not a fantasy. That is really how it is in Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston has 230 sunny days a year. That's compared to only 180 to 200 sunny days in the Northeast. We have mild winters. A lot of times we're seeing highs in the 50s and 60s, even in the months of January and February. Some days in December can even reach 80 degrees. This allows for a beach walk when you think you should be shoveling snow. There's no need for your snowblower. There's no need for car winterization. There's no need for heating bills that skyrocket. There's no need to change your winter tires. This saves money and it saves physical strain. And it's even good for your health because you get outdoors more often when you live in Charleston. However, there are two other challenges that weather presents I'm going to discuss in just a few minutes. But if you love the outdoors, Charleston is unmatched. Golf courses in Charleston are open year-round, and this means if you love to play golf, you don't have to take a break for 4 to 6 months during the winter. Boating and water sports are also available nearly year-round. If you love to fish, you can fish in all the winter months here in Charleston. There's beach access that's just minutes away from every town in Charleston, and I'm a surfer, and you can surf in the winter any month. You just might need a wetsuit, but the surfing is great. There's also a 294-day growing season that supports gardeners who are looking for that year-round gardening lifestyle. Now, when it comes to relaxation, you've got options. You've got Sullivan's Island for your beach getaway, or Folly Beach, or Kiwa Island. There's so many beach experiences here in Charleston, you could pick a new flavor every month of the year. There's waterways that are abundant for kayaking, for fishing, for sailing. These include the Ashley and the Cooper Rivers, as well as the Charleston Harbor, and of course, the Atlantic Ocean. There's also 20 championship golf courses available in Charleston. Notably, we have Kiwa's Ocean Course. There's also a historic downtown area in Charleston that offers walkable cobblestone streets. There's a vibrant art scene with galleries, theaters, festivals, including the famous Spoleto Festival, which brings world-class performers to Charleston every spring. The food scene has James Beard Award winners, and the Food Network comes here to feature our restaurants. There are year-round family events from outdoor concerts to farmers markets, which bring the community together. Education quality seals the deal for many families who are thinking about moving to Charleston. Half of Charleston residents hold bachelor's degrees or higher. Top public schools include the Academic Magnet High School, which is consistently ranked among America's best for college prep. There's also private schools like Buste Academy and Charleston County School of the Arts that offer unrivaled experience for people who are seeking that upper-end school experience for their children. The Medical University provides research opportunities and cultural events as well. Now, all of this sounds pretty amazing, right? It is, but I gotta be honest, Charleston isn't perfect. So let me tell you about some of the challenges that you could expect when you relocate here to Charleston. Charleston's growth story isn't slowing down, but with rapid expansion comes some real challenges we need to talk about. Rapid growth is straining the highways, especially during rush hours and tourist seasons. This adds a lot of traffic and time to your commute. Downtown gets congested during peak tourist seasons, especially when the cruise ships show up. Construction projects improve the long-term connectivity on I-26 and I-526 to widen these, but those construction projects also slow down traffic in the meantime. The public transit is more limited than you might see in other northeastern cities than what we have here in Charleston. The housing pressure is real too. Rising home prices are outpacing local wages, and this creates an affordability squeeze. Limited inventory in Charleston can create multiple offer situations, and about 89,000 families spend over 30% of their income on housing, despite advantages over the northeastern market. New development initiatives are addressing concerns like workforce housing and first-time buyer programs, but certain buyer groups are still finding incredible opportunities even amidst all these challenges. There's also environmental considerations you need to know when you're thinking about living in Charleston, South Carolina. There's hurricane risks. and flooding risks. You are most likely going to want to get flood insurance on your property. This can range anywhere from just a few $100s a year to maybe $5,000 a year, depending on what flood zone you're in. You need to understand your flood zones. You need to understand what an elevation certificate is and what it means. If a house is properly elevated and ventilated underneath for the flood zone, according to today's building laws, your flood insurance is going to be a lot less than if you buy a house that maybe was built in the 1970s or 1980s and doesn't have the proper flooding and zoning requirements. There's also climate change consideration you might want to consider for long-term coastal livings, especially if sea levels rise. Charleston's explosive growth also brings gentrification pressures. The influx of wealthy buyers to Charleston affects some of Charleston's neighborhoods, and this can change the character and affordability of long-term residents that were in these communities. The city is balancing development with historic preservation to respect Charleston's architectural heritage. But here's the reality. Current trends will likely continue for the foreseeable future. Population is expected to keep growing about 2% annually through the year of 2030. Major infrastructure investments, including highway improvements and new schools, are happening for continued growth. Charleston's Regional Development Alliance is targeting a $13 billion economic increase by 2040. Economic diversification and growth like tech and healthcare and aerospace and tourism creates a resilient base for Charleston's future. The question isn't whether Charleston will continue to grow. It's how the city will manage the growth and keep the qualities that make Charleston so unique and so special through the growth that we'll see in the coming years. The demographics of who's moving to Charleston are kind of surprising. Understanding these patterns can reveal exactly why this migration trend has staying power. Here's what's really interesting about who's making the move to Charleston. Tech workers and healthcare professionals are leading relocation trends, drawn by the industry growth and by competitive salaries that stretch further with the lower cost of living. Many of these people hold bachelor's degrees or higher, which brings educated talent supporting the innovation. A significant percentage of work remote is also taking advantage of the lifestyle benefits of moving to Charleston while keeping their higher out-of-market salaries. Young entrepreneurs are starting businesses in a family-friendly business environment with lower operating costs by moving here to Charleston. And the average age of Charleston's residents is 38. This creates community balance between young professionals, which have lots of energy, and family stability. Families with school-age kids are also coming to Charleston because of the top-rated public schools and the specialized programs that are not available in some of the northeastern communities. Parents seeking better education opportunities without the cost of private schools are coming to Charleston. They have access to specialized arts and STEM programs, and they know the neighborhoods are safe with strong community connections. The other group that's migrating here are retirees. They're coming here for very compelling reasons. They're drawn to the state because of no income tax on Social Security benefits, and it lets them maximize their retirement future. Retirees also love the mild climate of Charleston. That eliminates those harsh winters that they just want to get away from. And retirees are moving to Charleston because of the healthcare infrastructure. This is provided by hospitals like Roper St. Francis and the Medical University of South Carolina. Active adult communities are also part of the thing that is attracting retirees to Charleston. This gives them engagement, social activities, and physical active retirement. So what does this all mean for you if you're thinking about moving to Charleston? After looking at all the data and helping thousands of people relocate to Charleston myself, here's the bottom line. Charleston is a perfect storm of opportunity for Northeastern transplants. You've got job growth 3 times the national average, thousands that you get to save annually on taxes. You also have affordable housing compared to Northeastern markets and a lifestyle that trades winter struggles for year-round outdoor living. For families, we've got top schools and safe neighborhoods. For retirees, it's a tax benefit and a mild climate. For professionals, it's career opportunities with a small town feel and coastal access. If you're thinking about moving to Charleston and making a similar move, I'm here to help you. You can just reach out to me at 843-619-0401 or email me at sales@mattoneilteam.com. And don't head out just yet. If you need help deciding exactly which Charleston neighborhood you should move to, check out this video right here. If I were moving to Charleston SC in 2025, I'd move here. You can learn about the top 5 areas that I believe represent the best value and lifestyle in Charleston today. All right, we'll see you on the next video.